Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. Aristotle. Life is too expensive. It's hopeless. I'll never get out of debt. I don't even earn enough money. Have you ever uttered any of these statements before, or perhaps all of them? Old habits die hard. However, as long as you do nothing to change, then you and your coming generation have a direct ticket to the land of poverty. Stop complaining and making lame excuses. Instead, take responsibility for your non-productive habits and focus on changing them. Then do it. Consistently raising your expenditure is a good way to accumulate debt and to remain stuck in the echelons of poverty. To stay out of bad debt, you will either need to find a way to earn more or spend less. The first and best option is to find ways to earn more and keep your expenditure constant. Here I'm going to show you 4 expensive habits that will keep you poor. Before the start of the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content, subscribe. Let's get started. Habit number 1. Spending more as you make more. Let's face it, spending money is fun. In fact, there is scientific evidence to support this phenomenon. When you're considering buying something, your brain releases dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical produced by our brains that plays a starring role in motivating behavior. It gets released when we take a bite of delicious food, when we have sex, after we exercise, and when we spend money. In an evolutionary context, it rewards us for beneficial behaviors and motivates us to repeat them. This is why humans have such a hard time resisting spending. And often this spending is only curbed when all funds have been depleted and credit cards have been maxed out. However, when people come into money, this problem perpetuates. Maybe you got a bonus at work or a promotion. These increases in income trigger our inclination to spend as we continue to chase that dopamine high. But it's not just the dopamine high that makes us open our wallets and spend. We also feel an intense need to fit in with our peers. And one way that we can maintain our social status in society is by having the nicest clothes or the newest car. Unfortunately, this incessant spending is keeping us broke. You see, if you spend every single dollar you make, you will never be able to save money, invest, or retire. What separates the rich from the poor is the management of their money. Whereas the majority of people spend every new dollar they earn, the rich maintain their modest lifestyles as their income rises. This allows them to begin saving more and more money as their cash flow increases. But the rich don't just hoard this money. They then deploy this money into investments like Roth IRAs, mutual funds, investment properties, or their own business, to allow this cash to grow further. Therefore, if you want to become wealthy, then you must avoid spending more as your income rises. Habit number 2. Sacrificing future happiness for present pleasure. There are 2 types of people in this world: those who live for today and those who build for tomorrow. And unfortunately, the majority of people fall into the first category. Now, don't get me wrong. Enjoying the present is very important because no one knows how long each of us will live. But more likely than not, you will make it to tomorrow. And if you are always trading future rewards for present pleasures, then you will never be rich. This trade-off is actually one of the big differentiators between the rich and the poor. When the rich make more money, they forego the desire to spend the money today and instead sock it away into savings and investments that grow in value and provide financial resources that can be used in the future to maintain their current standard of living. In financial terms, delaying gratification is known as delayed discounting. And it takes place when someone decides to discount the value of future rewards to immediately gratify themselves, even though accepting a lesser reward isn't exactly rational. The rich know that future payoffs will be greater than present rewards, and studies strongly support how this restraint from present gratification can lead to larger income realizations in the future. Before moving forward here, I want to say something. Kindly leave a comment, "I watched this video to the end," if you like the video. Habit 3. You think you're too young to worry about saving. Let's be real. When we're young, our primary focus is how to look cool and fit in with those around us. To do this, we buy the newest clothes and the latest gadgets to feel like we're part of the in crowd. We are much more worried about our social status than saving for a house or our retirement. This carefree attitude leads us to spending every penny we earn, leaving little support for us down the road. In reality, you are never too young to start saving, and just as importantly, investing. Take Warren Buffett, for example. He bought his first stock at age 11, and over the course of numerous decades has leveraged his mastery in investing to become one of the richest men in the world. Let's use an example to illustrate just how important it is to get serious about your finances from an early age. Say we have two people, Mike and Steve. Mike begins investing at age 19, invests $2,000 a year at 12% for just 8 years, meaning that his last investment is at age 26. Steve, on the other hand, waits until he's 27 to start investing, and invests $2,000 a year at 12% until age 65. Who do you think will end up with more money at age 65? While Steve seems like the logical choice because he invested for 39 years compared to Mike's 8 years, Mike actually ends up with an extra $700,000 over Steve because of when he started investing. So as this example proves, it is never too early to start saving, and more importantly, investing your money. Misplaced priorities is another reason people remain broke or poor. Rather than buying what you need, they go for what they want, and in the process, end up with much lesser to save. Habit number 4. Not tracking your spending. We all think that we know where our money comes from and where it ends up. Sadly, that's not true for most of us. We might be aware of our major expenditures like buying a car or getting a new phone. But the small things usually eat up our finances more than the big ones. For instance, when I used to not track my expenses, more often than not I would open up my credit card statement at month's end and be completely shocked by how much bigger my bill was than I anticipated. The truth is that all the nights out, coffees, and clothes I was buying was adding up to as much as a large expenditure every month, which squandered any chance I had at saving money. While closely tracking your expenses is a good step to ensure you don't go broke, not tying your entire expenditure around a budget from the onset will make you lose a lot more money than you could have saved. It was only once I came across the quote by Peter Drucker, "What isn't measured isn't managed," that I knew I had to change my ways and start tracking my expenses. Being the lazy person that I am, I avoided setting up complicated apps or programs and simply began writing down all of my purchases in my iPhone notes. This simple yet effective strategy allowed me to see exactly where my money was going, and I still use this technique to this day. As you know, this can only be done by creating multiple streams of income, and lots of thinking is necessary in that case. Of all the preposterous ambitions of humanity over humanity, nothing exceeds most of the criticisms made on the habits of the poor by the well-housed, well-warmed, and well-fed. Herman Melville. The second option is to simply cut on unnecessary expenses. The money that is saved from these budget cuts could be used for embarking on future investment programs. The truth is that everyone has the potential to become rich. However, certain people have habits that are crippling their ability to build wealth. Luckily, if you can identify and correct these bad habits, then you can change your ways and build true wealth. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy this valuable content, don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe and turn on post notifications to see more of our future videos. With that said, Keep enjoying our videos, and I'll see you in the next video.